Hey there guys, today I got an ABUS DISKUS lock here. This one's going to be, there's some numbers on it, this one's going to be a 2870. It says 28/70 right here. You can normally find this style of lock on storage facilities or rental places or rental space places. What those are is people that have a lot of stuff, don't have room for their stuff inside their apartment or their house. They rent a small space, or you can rent a large space. And they put their stuff in there, and then they lock it up, pay a monthly thing to store their stuff. You will most commonly find these locks being used in that application all over the place. And most of these locks come out of China. They probably even come out of the same factory. Some will say Master, some will say ABUS, some will say Brinks, Buffalo, this, that, and another. This one is made in Germany, so it's kind of a little bit different than the norm. It does have security pins in it. Some do have security pins in them, some don't. Here's a look at the box. There's the other side of the box. Lock does work. Where you had trouble picking these locks in the real world is because of how they're mounted. They're fairly inflexible. They're normally not mounted to a chain. They're normally mounted to a hasp, and it makes it very limiting what position you can put this lock in to pick it, to drill it, use a pick gun, tension tool, and all those other things. So you're kind of limited on how you can maneuver the lock. So a lot of times you'll wind up, standing ass backwards trying to pick it either side or whatever, and that's where a lot of people kind of struggle with this. So you have a couple of these locks, you may want to mount them in ass backwards positions, weird type positions, to give you a little bit more realistic practice. This lock does work. Like I said, this is an ABUS, and it's made in Germany. I think some of the stuff by ABUS is made in Germany. The other stuff is made in China. But there, that is. On the bottom of the key it says ABUS. It's got a key code here. R00323. That's R00323. I'll give you a look at the key bitting. I think this lock has 5 pins. It's got a really low and then a really high cut. So it may look like 4 cuts there. And that one pin is getting picked up on the downward angle of that cut. I believe that's called the root angle. So this lock does have 5 pins, I believe. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 4, 5. Yeah, it's got 5 pins. Should be able to pick this lock open. And you see here, I can actually take this lock because it's not mounted to anything, and actually turn it this way. So that kind of gives me a little unfair advantage when you're first learning how to pick it, because you wouldn't probably most likely be able to do this in the real world. Let's try this pick here. Using my Southward Max hook pick. Go inside here, fill in the pins. The keyway is kind of tight. The warding or broaching is rubbing up against the pick. I'm just trying to get under the pins and push them up. Trying to get the lock into a false set. Okay, there's a false set. My tension wrench slid down for a little bit. The plug's slightly turned. See if I can get it out of this false set here. Also, another thing that makes these locks kind of hard to pick for some people is, I got it open, but it's the turning pressure. It takes a lot of pressure to turn this shackle. On some of these it can be really, really hard. I think it's just the nature of the design. But that can also make a difference when you're going in there picking. You're putting a lot of pressure and a lot of pressure, and you may need to back off just a little bit, get the lock open, and then increase the pressure to turn the shackle. There it is, picked open. Another thing that you'll find with these locks is they're also, the turning pressure to open them is kind of hard. But another thing you might see is that when they go to close these locks, they may not get them completely closed, and I'll give you an example of that. As you can see, the lock's closed up. If you pick these and practice on them, you'll notice that sometimes, not that time, but sometimes you will go to close it up, pull your tension wrench out, grab a hold of the shackle, and it will actually rotate back because you didn't get it completely closed up. That can actually probably happen in the real world, so you may get lucky. There it is. You know, somebody, they may not have the key, so they may not even try. They call a locksmith out, and the lock's actually open. You never know. Yeah, look at the key bitting here. So there's a look at the key bitting again. Yeah. Quick little story. I knew a locksmith one time, and I'll go into the story in more detail later. But for right now, I knew a locksmith at one time that got a divorce. His wife took everything from him. Needless to say, I was over at his trailer. He had a chair, his TV, and his VCR, and a couple of other things. And I asked him, I said, you know, I thought you said your wife took everything. And he said she did. I had to go get the stuff back. And he actually went to the storage facility where his stuff was stored at and picked one of these locks. I'm not sure if it was an ABUS, but it was around the DISKUS lock. And he didn't get charged with anything, but the judge kind of warned him not to do that again. But it's kind of a funny little thing that he had to go get into the storage facility to get some of his stuff back. But anyway, like I said, you'll see these locks all over the place. As always, have a good one.